Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about small knives. Let's do it. Okay everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing great, and as always, thanks for tuning in. So today we're talking about smaller knives. And we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to kind of talk about each one of these individually, and then throughout the video go over some overall advantages of having a smaller knife. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Benchmade Valet. Now this is one that I've talked about at length on the channel before, M390 blade steel. You know, I've had a full review of this guy. Not going to go into too many details, but the size is a good thing to mention. So we got a just a hair, I'm just going to say it's a 3-inch blade, and about a 4-inch handle. And it's nice and slim and sleek. And so this is a relatively, it's not a loud knife by any means. It's not a big, aggressive looking knife. It's nice and sleek, small, compact. I'm going to keep these two, the 940 and the PM2 here this whole time for comparison, just so you can see how much smaller these other knives are. So you can see, it's a good bit smaller in all the dimensions, and I think what makes this knife really nice for a smaller knife carry is just the overall look in combination with the size. And so I really like that. And this is the biggest of the smaller knives that I will be talking about, the Benchmade Valet. Up next, and this is a really exciting one for me because it's a relatively new guy, the Civivi Odium. And this is the one with the JG10. And so as you can see, we've got skeletonized liners underneath there. Keeps the weight nice and light. This knife looks really great, in my opinion, with the jade. It's my favorite version. They also have orange, blue, gray, and black. We've got our matching back spacer here. This handle is really comfortable, and you can hold it in two ways. So you can hold it like this, or you can choke up, and you get that full 4-finger grip. Great jimping on the top, on the spine here. Just a really great overall small little guy. This one I've been carrying a lot since I got it. Very compact in the pocket. Easy to deploy in like 4 different ways. There's the flipper. You got a finger flick. You can thumb flick it. It's a little bit trickier. I'm not super great at it yet. There it is. Or you can just do the slow thumb opening. It's hard to do on camera. There we go. So this is a really fun one to fidget with. Ball bearings, really nice and smooth. Plus it just looks friendlier. It's not scary. So it's good for that small carry. And that's one of the nice things about smaller knives is they're a little bit more unassuming. Not quite as threatening looking to someone who's not used to seeing a pocket knife out in public or in the office or whatever. And the reality is, for a lot of cutting tasks that we use knives for on a daily basis, you might not necessarily need a bigger knife. Sometimes I definitely think it's better, and I for sure prefer for my primary, a nice 3.5-inch blade like either one of these. But a lot of times you can get away with a smaller knife, and they work just as well for those, string, opening boxes, opening bags, cutting tags, whatever. Lots of things that you can use a smaller blade for. Where it might be nice to have a bigger knife with a bigger, more comfortable handle and a longer blade is if you're breaking down lots of boxes, or you're cutting anything that's a little bit more aggressive, like any kind of wood type stuff. If you need to use a knife for that, I would say it's probably better to have a bigger knife, maybe a little bit thicker blade. This blade in particular has pretty good cutting geometry. It's a really good slicer. So the performance is actually really good. But yeah, okay, so that's the Civivi Odium. Let's do some lengths here. So we're just over, let's see, we're about 2 3/4 inches. Nope, sorry. Just over 2.5 inches, not quite 2 3/4. 2.5 inches, say, and about 4 inches on the handle. So very similar handle size compared to the Valet. Just a little shorter blade and a little bit wider, but still very comfortable to carry. Very comfortable size knife. That's another nice small one. Getting smaller still, we've got the CRKT Squid. Now this guy, we're looking at just about 2¼ inch on the blade. So we knocked off another 1/4 inch, and about 3½ inches on the handle. So this guy's even a little shorter and stubbier. I would say he's even less threatening looking. Also a pretty comfortable handle. You know, some more coarse jimping, but this little finger groove actually fits my hand really well. This one's actually got really smooth action for just being on washers. You can see it drop shut there, and it snaps open really well, frame lock. This knife is a little heavier for its size because it's got these full stainless steel scales, but it's still very comfortable to carry. A nice deep carry clip. It's relatively slim, just kind of cute and stubby looking. Again, probably not going to scare anyone. The cool thing about this one is there's also lots of variations out there. In fact, CRKT is coming out with some newer ones with some holes cut out. They've got a slightly bigger one with a flipper tab. All kinds of good stuff with the Squid. So this is another great smaller guy that I like to sometimes carry in conjunction with a bigger one. I'll get to that in a minute. And then lastly, on the smaller guys, I've got my Spyderco Cricket. Now this guy is really cool. He's a very unique shape. Just about 2 inches on the blade, so really little, and about 2 3/4 on the handle. So he's a little less comfortable to hold, but I find if I put my finger up in this choil area, there's another good groove for my middle finger, and then I can get a good grip there. So, you know, it definitely works, and this blade slices really well. VG10, it's a pretty good steel. It's nice to flick this guy open just by holding onto the thumb hole, so it opens up nice and easily. I think the best thing about this knife is it's so slim. So you can see here, compared with the Valet, it's about the thickness of the liners, excluding the clip. But so that thickness is just, you know, this is the thinnest knife I own by a pretty far cry there. So I really like this guy because it's just really easy to carry, relatively light too, even with the full stainless steel. And that hawkbill blade is just really cool. So one of the things I like to do is, you know, I'll carry one of these smaller ones in addition to, you know, my classic, like one of these two, or maybe a slightly bigger knife, just to have the options. Because sometimes, you know, sometimes it's better to use a smaller knife for a certain cutting task, and sometimes you do need that extra length and that extra handle length, like I mentioned. And if I have enough pockets, I don't mind carrying two, especially if one of them is one of these smaller guys, because they're a lot easier to carry. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the smaller knives. I think they can be very useful, and I think it's always good to have a few of a pretty variant size in your collection, just so you have a good range, and just good options for all around different types of situations. It's fun to be prepared in different ways. So please let me know what you think in the comments. You know, do you like small knives? What are some other benefits that I might have missed, or drawbacks? I'd love to hear. Yeah, so that's it for this video. As always, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all the support and the subscriptions, and we'll see you next time. All right, stay well.